Mia's heart pounded with excitement as she slowly pushed open the heavy wooden door. The attic was dark and mysterious. Cobwebs hung from the rafters like spooky decorations. The only light came from a small window at the far end of the room. Dust swirled in the air, making Mia sneeze. She covered her nose and mouth with her hand. The air smelled stale and old, like a forgotten memory. Mia took a deep breath and stepped inside.
Mia's eyes slowly adjusted to the dim light. She could make out shapes in the darkness. A rocking chair with a worn-out cushion, a faded tapestry draped over a dusty old trunk, and stacks of forgotten toys piled high in a corner. Mia couldn't wait to explore it all.
Mia wandered deeper into the attic, her footsteps echoing on the wooden floor. She ran her fingers along the surface of a long wooden table. It was covered in a thick layer of dust. She stopped in front of a large wardrobe. Its doors were slightly ajar, revealing a glimpse of something intriguing inside. Mia cautiously opened the doors, her heart racing with anticipation.
Inside, she found a collection of old dolls, their painted faces staring out at her with a mixture of joy and sadness. Some were missing limbs, others had tangled hair, but there was one doll that immediately caught Mia's eye. It was a porcelain doll dressed in a beautiful velvet dress that shimmered like moonlight. The doll had long flowing hair as black as night and piercing blue eyes that seemed to follow Mia's every move. But it was the doll's expression that truly captivated Mia. The doll's lips were curved into a slight smile, but there was something unsettling about it. It was as if the doll knew a secret, something that Mia couldn't quite grasp.
Mia reached out and gently lifted the doll from the wardrobe.
As she held the doll in her hands, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She could have sworn she heard a soft whisper coming from the shadows, but when she turned around, there was no one there. Mia continued exploring the attic, her newfound treasure tucked safely under her arm. She discovered old books with yellowed pages, a gramophone with a scratched record still on its turntable, and a vintage hatbox filled with feathers and lace. But throughout her exploration, Mia couldn't help but feel a pair of eyes on her. Every time she glanced at the doll, its blue eyes seemed to be staring back at her, their intensity growing stronger with each passing moment.
As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the attic floor, Mia decided it was time to head back downstairs. She carefully placed the doll on a small table near the window, promising to return for it in the morning.
That night, Mia lay awake in her bed, her mind filled with thoughts of the mysterious doll. She had found it in the attic earlier that day, covered in dust and cobwebs, yet its eyes seemed to gleam with an unsettling life of their own. Mia, as S1. I can't shake this feeling. There's something really strange about that doll. It's like it's watching me, even now. It's like it's both intriguing and frightening at the same time. She couldn't understand why, but the doll seemed to have a presence that was hard to ignore. Suddenly, Mia heard a soft noise coming from the hallway outside her room. It was faint at first, almost like a whisper, but then it grew louder. It sounded like footsteps, slow and deliberate. Each step seemed to echo in the silence of the night, sending chills down her spine. Mia as S1. What was that? Is someone there? The voice was barely a whisper, trembling with fear. Her heart raced as she slowly got out of bed and tiptoed to her bedroom door. She hesitated for a moment, her hand hovering over the doorknob. Mia as S1. I need to see what's going on out there. Gathering her courage, she opened the door just a crack and peered into the hallway. Peeking through a crack in the door, Mia gasped. Her eyes widened in disbelief at what she saw. The doll from the attic was standing at the end of the hallway, its blue eyes glowing eerily in the darkness. It was as if the doll had come to life, defying all logic. Mia as S1. Oh my gosh, it's the doll! How is this even possible? Her mind raced with questions, but no answers came, and then, with a slight turn of its head, the doll seemed to beckon Mia to follow. It was a gesture so subtle, yet so clear, as if it was inviting her into the unknown. Despite her fear, Mia felt an inexplicable pull to follow the doll. She took a hesitant step forward, her curiosity battling with her fear. With each step, the hallway seemed to stretch longer, the shadows growing darker. Mia's heart pounded in her chest, but she couldn't stop now. She reached out towards the doll, her hand trembling. What would happen next? She had no idea, but she knew she had to find out.
Frozen in fear and astonishment, Mia watched as the doll glided towards her. It moved with an unnatural grace, its porcelain limbs seemingly defying gravity.
Mia's mind raced, trying to comprehend what she was seeing. As the doll drew closer, Mia noticed something peculiar. The doll's once vacant eyes now held a glimmer of mischief, as if it knew a secret it couldn't wait to share.
Mustering all her courage, Mia decided to follow the doll.
The doll led Mia back to the attic, its tiny footsteps echoing on the wooden stairs. As they reached the attic door, the doll turned to face Mia, its blue eyes sparkling with an otherworldly light. With a gentle push, the door creaked open. The attic was bathed in an ethereal glow emanating from the doll itself. The light seemed to pulse gently, casting long shadows that danced on the walls. It was as if the doll was alive, its presence filling the room with an otherworldly energy. The air was thick with anticipation, and Mia could feel her heart racing as she watched the scene unfold. It floated towards the old gramophone, its porcelain hand reaching out to touch the scratched record. The gramophone, ancient and covered in a fine layer of dust, seemed to come to life at the doll's touch. The needle, once still, began to move, and the record started to spin slowly. The air was filled with a sense of magic, as if time itself had paused to witness this moment.
As the needle dropped, a haunting melody filled the air, both beautiful and melancholic. The music seemed to weave through the trees, wrapping around Mia like a comforting embrace. Each note was filled with emotion, telling a story of love, loss, and longing. It was a melody that spoke to the soul, resonating deep within Mia's heart.
Mia watched in awe as the doll began to dance, its movements fluid and graceful. It twirled and spun, its porcelain face serene and focused. The dance was a perfect complement to the music, each movement synchronized with the haunting melody. Mia felt as if she was witnessing a performance from another world, a dance that transcended time and space. It was as if the doll was alive, infused with a spirit that transcended time. Its eyes sparkled with a life of their own, and its movements were so lifelike that Mia could hardly believe it was just a doll. The scene was mesmerizing, and Mia felt a deep connection to the doll, as if they shared a bond that went beyond the physical world. Mia couldn't tear her eyes away, captivated by the magical scene unfolding before her. The doll's dance was enchanting, and the music seemed to speak directly to her soul. She felt a sense of wonder and awe, as if she was part of something much larger than herself. The world around her faded away, and all that existed was the doll, the music, and the magic that bound them together.
As the music reached its crescendo, the doll stopped dancing. Its movements slowed, and it came to a graceful halt, standing perfectly still. The air was thick with tension, and Mia held her breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The doll turned to Mia. Its blue eyes seemed to hold a depth of knowledge beyond Mia's understanding. They sparkled with an inner light, and Mia felt as if the doll could see into her very soul. The connection between them was palpable, and Mia felt a sense of recognition, as if she had known the doll for a lifetime. In that moment, Mia felt a connection to the doll, a sense of shared history and unspoken secrets. It was as if the doll was a part of her, a reflection of her own soul. The bond between them was unbreakable, and Mia knew that she would never forget this magical encounter. The haunting melody, the graceful dance, and the doll's knowing eyes would stay with her forever, a reminder of the magic that exists in the world. As quickly as it had begun, the music stopped, the ethereal glow faded, and the attic was plunged back into darkness. The doll lay motionless on the floor, its porcelain features once again vacant and still.
Mia blinked, unsure if what she had witnessed was real or simply a figment of her imagination. Had the doll truly come to life, or was it all just a dream?
She cautiously approached the doll, her heart pounding in her chest.
As Mia reached for the doll, she noticed a small, folded piece of paper tucked beneath its dress. With trembling hands, she unfolded the paper and held it up to the moonlight streaming through the window. The note was written in elegant cursive, the ink faded with time. Each stroke of the pen seemed to tell a story of its own, a story that had been lost to the ages. The paper was fragile, almost crumbling at the edges, and the words were barely legible. Mia could barely make out the words, but one sentence stood out. May this doll bring you joy and wonder as it has for generations past. The sentence seemed to echo in her mind, filling her with a sense of nostalgia and curiosity. She wondered who had written the note and what their life had been like.
Mia reread the note, her mind racing with questions. Who had written it? What did it mean? She felt a connection to the writer, as if their emotions had been transferred through the ink and paper. The note was more than just words. It was a piece of someone's heart and soul. And what was the doll's true origin? The doll seemed to hold secrets of its own, secrets that were waiting to be uncovered. Mia felt a strange bond with the doll, as if it had been waiting for her all these years.
Gazing down at the doll, Mia couldn't help but feel a sense of both wonder and unease. The doll's eyes seemed to follow her, and she felt as if it was trying to communicate with her. She wondered what stories the doll could tell if it could speak. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the cracks in the attic windows, Mia carefully placed the doll back in the old wardrobe. She felt a sense of reverence, as if she was returning the doll to its rightful place. The attic was filled with the soft glow of the morning light, and everything seemed to be at peace. She knew that she would never forget her night of adventure. The memories of the note and the doll would stay with her forever, a reminder of the mysteries that life holds. She felt a sense of closure, but also a sense of anticipation for what the future might bring. And she couldn't shake the feeling that the mysterious doll was hiding even more secrets, waiting to be discovered. The garden seemed to whisper to her, urging her to keep searching, to keep uncovering the layers of history that surrounded her. Mia knew that this was just the beginning of her journey, and she was ready to embrace whatever came next.